This is what game day food is supposed to look like. Let's make loaded nachos right. Walk with me. Now look here. The big game is soon, and while I am still upset that Kevin Patullo ruined the chance for the Philadelphia Eagles to repeat, I'm still going to put y'all on game and make a super simple and easy loaded nachos. As you know, I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so I really don't have a horse in the race at this point. But my cousin happens to be a Seahawks fan, so I figured, you know what? Let me go ahead and give my support to that team until next season. Now, I know on this channel, I have specifically called out the Dallas Cowboys as a team that I really don't like at all. And while that is 100% true, I also cannot stand the 49ers, and I also don't like the Rams. I say all that to say that the Seattle Seahawks have provided me two successful hate watches on the two other teams that I really don't care for very much. But regardless of personal feelings, I do hope that if your favorite team is playing on February 8th, your team wins, and good luck. Gonna be honest with you, I cannot believe how small this onion is. This onion is barely bigger than a golf ball, and I don't like that at all. I think it goes without saying, but we just diced up an onion and now we're gonna add some oil to a pot. For preheating the pot, we have the heat set to medium high. Now to me, I'm not sure how you can have some sort of a gathering for a sporting event and not have loaded nachos. To me, they take almost no effort to make and bring together, so why wouldn't you do it? We have our onion going in the pot, and to be honest, they really don't need that long before we go in with the beef. Onions have sweated, they've even gotten some color on them. We now go in with our brick of beef. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you will be well aware of the fact that typically garlic goes in once I sweat down or saute some onion. I ain't feel like doing all that today. So what you're going to want to do now is break down this beef, but also keep it in an even layer so we can get some of that browning on the bottom. Given that it's fresh in the pot, you're not going to be able to break it down all that much. I just wanted to spread it out a little bit more so I get more browning. The beef has slightly colored on the bottom, not as much as I wanted it to, and you know what? It is what it is. But what you're going to want to do now is continue breaking it down until most of the pink has cooked out, and then we're going to go in with the seasonings. One of the more annoying things about cooking beef is the amount of liquid that comes out of it once you put it in the pot or pan. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I do not have all day to stand around and wait for the liquid to cook out of the beef, so I went ahead and strained it manually. I am many things, but patient is not one of them. So now we go down to one of my favorite parts of cooking, the seasoning. I've started with garlic powder and cumin. I'm going to add some chili flake. Man, that was way too much. What am I doing here? Probably going to be fine, but I really did not intend to add that much chili flake. This is paprika. Now, I will say, if you have cayenne pepper, go ahead and use cayenne pepper instead of chili flake. I'm almost certain that cayenne pepper goes better with this anyway, so just go ahead and use that. And if you're thinking to yourself, oh, can I just skip the spice as a whole? Absolutely not. I don't care if you're old, young, big, or small. If you are going to watch this channel, you are going to accept the fact that spice will go in pretty much everything. We've mixed in our seasonings, let it cook into the beef, but before you turn off the heat and say that it's done, you must taste it and adjust if needed. I just tried it. It does need a little bit more seasonings, but something it does not need more of is chili flake. I don't know if I mentioned this specifically, but I also added black pepper to this, but if you've been watching this channel, you should know it's already in here. Now, if you're someone that happens to prefer chicken with their loaded nachos, you know what? I respect your opinion, and it's perfectly valid. I just felt like going down the beef route, and you know what? I just wanted beef today. I don't know what else to tell you. But now we move on to the next step, and that's the pico de gallo. And if you're familiar with the recipe, then you might be asking yourself, why the hell is this guy cutting a red onion? I didn't feel like using white onion today, so I'm using red onion. And if you want to burn me at the stake for it, you know what? I accept that. But regardless, our pico de gallo is going to start with us finally dicing a red onion. You know, I'm kind of annoyed at how this half of a red onion is twice the size of the whole onion I used just a moment ago. Now, to be honest with you, the only thing that I'm not doing traditionally is not using a white onion. If you happen to be offended that I'm not using a white onion, then to be honest with you, I think you get offended too easily. I will be a little upfront with you and admit that I thought about adding garlic to this. I don't think at any point in this recipe I'm going to be using fresh garlic, and to be honest with you, I don't see where fresh garlic will be bad in pico de gallo. If you're anything like me and you really like cilantro, then I recommend that you use a lot. There's no such thing as pico de gallo without fresh lime juice, so we're going to give this lime a roll so that we get as much juice from it as possible. I think I'm going to use half of this now and then the other half in the crema. And like I said, just use half of it and squeeze the juice into the bowl. The hard part is done. Now we just finish with some salt to taste. Give it a mix and don't be shy. Try it and see what else it might need. This is done. I am happy with it. I'm going to cover it up, put it in the fridge, and let those flavors sit and get to know one another. Now obviously, when making nachos, you almost always got to have cheese and sour cream. Now sour cream on its own is cool, it's fine, but you know what? I think it can be a little bit boring. So to spruce it up a little bit, we're going to start by adding some more lime juice. Not only does adding lime juice make it more flavorful, but it'll also make it easier to drizzle over the top of all the nachos. And we're really not adding too much either because we're going to add some salt, pepper, and something I didn't even think to add until a couple of minutes ago, more cilantro. The tanginess from the sour cream and the freshness from the cilantro play together perfectly, and if you don't add it, then I really think you'll be missing out. But what we do now is mix it together until it's combined, taste for seasonings or anything else, and we put it aside in the fridge. Tell me, when you see this here tortilla, what do you think? If you thought we were making our own nacho chips, you would be absolutely right. Now, before you start complaining, I'm going to tell you right now, go ahead and just buy your own nacho chips from the store. You're not going to be in my comments complaining because I chose to do it this way. I'm just messing around, but seriously speaking, if you'd rather buy your own nacho chips, to be honest, I recommend you do it that way. I'm making my own chips because why the hell not? Now, if you are interested in doing some arts and crafts and making these chips yourself, pay attention. Cutting in half. Cutting in half, once more. Do it to the best of your ability. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, if you want your chips this big, that's fine, but I'm going to make them smaller. So now we're going to go across, right here, in half. And then we do the same thing from the other side. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is a DIY arts and crafts project. Our chips are cut. I have this pan over some heat. We now add some oil. And we let this oil get real nice and hot. Our oil is hot. We're going to go in with our first handful of chips. These won't need very long, so please keep your eyes on them. Now, while those fry, we're going to go ahead and work on today's two cheeses. The first one being sharp cheddar cheese. Sharp cheddar cheese brings that saltiness, but unfortunately, it does not melt that well. But when you see our second cheese, you'll understand why this is going to work just fine. Our first batch of chips have finished frying, and dare I say, they look pretty, just like you. I've got them sitting on top of some paper towels so that the excess oil can dry off. I'm going to hit them with some salt and finish frying the rest. For our second cheese of choice, we'll be cutting thin slices of Monterey Jack cheese. This will melt better than the cheddar, and it has more texture. If you want to, you can buy your cheese pre-shredded, but I don't believe in doing that. This tastes better. I finished frying all of my chips, and I know they look a little dark, but I promise you, they're not burned. But what happens now is we build our nachos in here so that we can put them in the oven so that the cheese can melt over the top of everything. Now, because I love cheese, I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on the chips themselves. You can just put the cheese on top of everything, but let me rock, please. And we add a little bit more cheese on top just to round it out. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. We're going to put this in there until the cheese melts. Good God Almighty. Tell me that does not look good. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I definitely started eating some before I started putting on this pico here. Now I know I might be biased, but this is phenomenal. I don't care who you're rooting for to win the game, but if you make this, you're a winner regardless. Now for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna put a little dollop right on top. But off camera, it's gonna get real messy. I can't believe I just stuttered like that. This plate is a fiesta of flavors, and you know what? I'm not mad at it. If you do decide to make this for the big game, I hope you enjoy it.